Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sippy Cup Shenanigans. I'm Taylor Palmer.
And I'm Catherine Jensen, and today we are joined by Catherine Maloy, and we are so excited to have her on. She is the founder of an awesome nonprofit group called Cocotree that works to collect underwear for kids in Massachusetts that need it. And obviously, she will go more in depth on that, but we're so excited to have her here to talk about her experience with this nonprofit group and also with motherhood and all of the things. So first, Catherine, do you want to just start by sharing a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Catherine Maloy, and I'm the founder and CEO of Cocotree Kids. And as Catherine mentioned, we are a nonprofit based in Massachusetts with a mission to provide underwear to at-risk and underserved youth across the state. By way of background, I actually do not have a nonprofit background myself. I come from the corporate world where I worked for 15 years in management consulting and human resources while my babies were little. And so this journey of launching the charity and following my passion while raising the kids is just something I'm really excited to talk about today.
Yeah, we're so excited to hear everything about it. And first and foremost, what inspired Cocotree? Maybe what was like the first moment that led you to researching or just looking into maybe starting something?
It came out of nowhere, actually. Like I said, I was not looking for a change per se. I knew that I was burnt out, quite frankly. I was working a lot during the day and working a lot overnight with my
Yeah.
littles, who are not so little anymore. But it was during the pandemic when we were all in quarantine. And like many working moms, I was working from home and balancing the kids and trying to figure it all out, where I had a moment that I felt in order kind of to make me feel better, I wanted to contribute to my community. And so it all started by making a couple of phone calls to some local food banks and charities around my area. And I just asked them, what do you need that I can help you with today?
Mm.
And I heard several times that these organizations receive donations of clothing and shoes and toys, but they don't receive donations of underwear, and they really need underwear for children. And it was shocking and jarring, but also not surprising at all when you think about it. Of course
Yeah.
they need
Yeah.
underwear, and of course you
Yes.
can't donate underwear.
Yeah.
So that was the moment of just curiosity and wanting to do something good,
And that's
changed
kind of where it led
everything.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true. When I came across your Instagram account and was looking at like your mission and things, it was something that I was like, I have never really thought about this issue before. But it definitely makes sense. Like you said, a lot of people are donating, yeah, maybe used clothes, shoes, and things, but underwear is something that can only be received brand new. And
Hmm.
so people probably don't even know, yeah,
No, it
how
would go
to do that.
right over
And
my
it
head
becomes
too, like
very
we were talking
obvious, like
about.
what it is a very obvious everyday need, and
Yeah.
particularly
Mm-hmm.
for kids who are potty training, who are,
Mm-hmm.
just coming out of diaper, really at any age,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
particularly the younger kids. It's mortifying for a child not to have access to clean,
Yeah.
new underwear that fits their body for that security and protection that they need. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's
It's
where it
it's essential.
started. Yes,
Yeah.
it's absolutely essential.
Well, I love the idea, and I love that it, like Catherine said, it's something that you really just don't think about. Because you go donate clothes, but you can never donate underwear. And like you're saying, I love how part of your mission statement is like the security and the confidence that those kids need, because it's not something that you just automatically think about. It's one of those things that you'd think is just a common thing that everyone has,
Yeah.
and it's not. It's not something that everyone has, and I think it's great that you guys are doing that and bringing that to those kids that need it. It, like you said, at any age.
Thank you. And actually,
So,
the name Cocotree was inspired by my daughter, who was 4 years old when I started. But when she was a toddler herself, her favorite thing in the world, she loved Christmas. She still does. But
Oh,
anything that made her happy, she would say, "It's Christmas, Mom. It's Christmas." But she couldn't pronounce Christmas, and she said Cocotree instead of
that's so
Christmas. So she
cute.
would point to things that made her happy. Cocotree, Cocotree. So that inspired the name of, we were trying to make kids feel that same genuine
Yeah,
happiness.
oh, I love that.
I love that so much. I was going to ask what inspired the name too. So thanks for sharing that. That's so cute, especially like, yeah, just that coming from that personal
Yeah.
experience and you're wanting to share that with others. So,
Well, and not only that, like I'm sure that she feels a sort of happiness and pride too, that she gets to watch her mom help all of these people and know that it has like a special place in her heart, and that you're
She
sharing
loves
that with
it.
everyone too is
She
amazing.
does not let me forget that she inspired the name.
she's like, "You're
I
welcome, Mom."
Yes, it's okay.
I
Yeah.
love that. So, speaking of motherhood and running this, so it's a huge responsibility, especially as a mom. How do you balance both of those roles?
Balance is, I mean, you hear work-life balance. How do you balance it all? How does a mother balance it all? And
Does balance even
Yeah,
exist?
what is
it
a work-life balance?
it just means that you have to make compromises during the day, and that's the
Hmm.
truth. I have two
Yeah.
kids, um, and I'm working, and I am able to have more balance than when I worked in my corporate job, which
Hmm.
but
Mm,
which wound up being another driver to go down this road, because particularly for women, if you feel drawn to a cause or something is really inspiring you, you can take that leap and try, with the understanding that some sacrifices have to be made. So
Yeah.
the balance is, um, sometimes I have to log on and work late so that I could be with my
mm,
kids during the day. Sometimes I can't drop my kid off at a play date, and we have to reschedule every decision in the work life has its corresponding consequence or sacrifice in your personal life, and vice versa. So it's not an easy answer, and it's not a great answer, I guess, but you just balance it all. When something's really important to you, I think that you just find a way to prioritize your time and make the time for things that matter the most, which really boils down to your family and your passions.
mhm. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's a great answer.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think balancing it is something that's really hard. And I like that you're saying that what really matters to you is what you're going to make happen. And there are sacrifices every day that you have to make. But it's the important choices that we're making to, balance it on each side, which is never easy, especially as a mom,
Not easy.
working and following your passions and raising your kids and trying to spend as much time with them as you can, but also doing what makes you happy as well. And
And I
it's
think
a,
women in general, I mean, moms, maybe I'm just projecting my own feeling, I guess, but I think you just have to be kinder to yourself. There's no
mhm.
possible way. You cannot keep a pristine
No.
house with a gourmet meal on the table perfectly. It's not going to happen. So
No.
you can do
No.
your best. And I think sometimes if you're just a little kinder with the expectations on yourself, that balance becomes a little easier. But it's not hard. It's not
Yeah.
easy to do.
Yeah.
No.
I really like what you said, because I'm definitely guilty of that, of like putting too much pressure on myself or having those like high expectations and wanting all of those areas to be working perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's not always gonna happen like that. And so I think that is really important to have like kindness towards yourself and
I think it's
patience
balance
and
on average. You're not going to have balance every
yeah.
day, but it's
No.
over the course of the year, did I generally make it work? And yeah, you did. You did great.
Yeah.
So congratulate yourself when it goes well. And if a day gets out of balance, you just recognize it and congratulate yourself when it goes well and learn from things that don't. That's kind of how we have run our program also. I mean, you don't just wake up and decide to start a charity and distribute hundreds of thousands of pairs of underwear across the state. You have to make mistakes. There's trial and error in most aspects of your life, but for some reason, the balance in motherhood is the hardest. Not for some, it's an obvious reason.
Yeah, for sure. I think every mother can relate to that.
Absolutely. But I think it's important too that your kids get to see you doing this and model that for them too, and get to, watch their mom do something that she loves and have that be an inspiration for them as they grow up too.
And helping other people, and it's a really great cause. And so I think they have such a great example and person to look up to, and a way to help others, which is really important for them. You said that your daughter inspired the name. Is there any other ways your kids have inspired your work, or any other ways they've been like involved or helped?
Totally.
I'm sure.
Yes, and I think central to Cocotree Kids' values is instilling the importance of giving back and philanthropy at a very young age. Regardless of
I
what
love that.
drives you to give back, whether it's the environment or the arts or education or basic needs, when a child is exposed to helping in any kind of area, I think it just makes them a more well-rounded person. So my kids, they actually came with me to deliver the underwear to homeless shelters and other charities when I first started, because we didn't have a distribution model. At first, it was Catherine's trunk and the kids in the back in the car seats. And we drove around and, I was able to show them in some ways sort of harsh realities of these are some circumstances that children live in. And it is important to recognize things that you have that others don't, and be mindful of how you want to contribute positively to society. Didn't say that to a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old at the time in those words, but that's what they're seeing.
Yeah.
And so when we have elementary schools do underwear collection drives, or like the Girl Scouts, it's interesting that at any age, that light bulb effect happens. So a child's like, I don't underwear. That's so, yucky. I don't want to have touch any underwear. And then you realize, and you say, well, excuse me, how would you feel if you didn't have it? And then they suddenly get so into it, and it becomes something that they want to collect the most out of their class or out of their, whatever the group they're in. And I think what Cocotree Kids does well for kids and for anyone who does, a collection drive, we're able to tell them where the underwear went. We can tell you did this collection drive of X number of pairs, and all of this underwear went to a pediatric clinic, or this underwear went to a homeless shelter, or, a child who's been displaced from their home. We can communicate and then make a connection, because if you just if there's a food drive or a toy drive, once they deliver the item, that's sort of the end, and they don't know what
Yeah.
happens next.
Yeah, I think it makes it that much more significant and like impactful and meaningful when they're able to connect like where it's going. And it's really, yeah, like going to be used, and it's not just like, oh, I don't know where this is going or what's happening to this. And like such a good learning opportunity and experience for those kids to
We've also made it
have.
like educational where we can, like for the little kids,
Yeah.
to sort the underwear like by size. These are
Mm.
2T.
Oh, yeah.
This is 4. I need you guys to go group the underwear by size or by color, and then they count it. And we really try to empower the child to be more involved in the
Yeah.
process. And they love it. They feel
Yeah, that's
so
Absolutely.
pumped about
Yeah.
I'm sure they feel like like a
Anyway.
superhero.
Yeah. Any way that kids can help, I feel like they just get so excited. And I'm just thinking of, I used to be a teacher, and thinking of, you're saying in schools, I can just imagine all of my students would be so excited to do something like that and know where it's going. I think
where
it's
it's
such a great
going.
lesson in empathy and understanding others and how they feel. And that's so impactful for kids, especially at a young age, to understand that. And I love that your kids are so involved and they're learning all of these lessons, because it truly does make such a difference in kids' lives at that young age, when they can understand those feelings and kind of put themselves in someone else's shoes and see what it could be like and how they can help, and the change and difference that they can make in someone else's life is very impactful.
With
So
something so simple, it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
simple.
very simple, very basic, but with a huge outcome and
Yes.
impact for
Yeah.
the child that receives it.
And when
Yeah.
and when kids are so young too, and seeing that, something so little to them though means something so much. And I think that's also really
that's
magical
true.
to see. So what advice would you give to other moms who feel called to do something bigger than themselves, but worry about maybe time and energy requirements that it may involve?
I think that they should do it. That's the short answer. I think as long as you've done your research, that's a very simplified answer. There's obviously a lot of mechanics and logistics to getting something off the ground, but if you're drawn to a cause, or if something's important to you, like we talked earlier about the balancing your time, I believe you can make a significant contribution to society with any time constraint, because of what someone may be able to give only a couple hours a week. Those couple hours a week can make a huge difference, whether you're in however way you want to support your community or whatever venture you're being called to. I think as long as you're honest with yourself, again, about your bandwidth and what you want to have in your life, I think it can be done. And I would also say to start small, because you can have a big vision, as you should.
Yes.
If you get so excited and you have a big dream, you can have the first step of achieving that dream be something. I'm going to start, with 2% and just see if I can, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? You just baby steps.
It's not all going to happen in a day.
It's not all going to happen in a day, but it definitely can be done. And particularly if you have a support system around you, like Cocotree Kids, we're very fortunate to have a group of very committed women. Most our team is largely working moms. And so we are all working under time constraints, and a child gets sick, or there's surrounding yourself with the right people who understand the flexibility required for a working mom. I think it makes it an enjoyable working experience, and it can be done. If you think about many moms of young kids who would like to contribute in some fashion outside of caring for their baby or their little one, that's a resource right there for you. If a woman can give 1 or 2 hours a week of years of prior professional experience, that would make them feel empowered to contribute to their household and contribute to the community in some way. So it definitely can be done, but definitely some thought and preparation in advance to be honest about what you can actually give.
Did you, when you were like going through this process and growing Cocotree Kids and expanding, how did you know like the steps to take? Did you have like any mentors, or was it like research and just trial and error? I would love to know kind of like that process, because you can have like this vision and this goal, and then it's like all the steps in between. It's like, how do I get there?
How do you do it?
Yeah.
Well, like motherhood, there is no manual.
Yeah.
There's no like step process. But I think if you just ask questions, or what I did personally, I just reached out to other executive directors of charities that have a similar model of, basic food pantries or needs distribution. And I just asked, how do you manage your inventory? How do you get the item to the child or family or whoever the recipient is? How do you incorporate to become a charity? And then you get answers just by asking questions. So then you find out, okay, well, step one is, I know that I need, in order to be recognized as a nonprofit, I need a 501c3. So these are the steps, like we talked about, the baby steps.
Yeah.
That's all I'm focusing on right now. I'm just focusing on this one thing. But I think just asking questions. I enrolled in a certificate program for nonprofit management, and I got some sort of basic fundamental guidance. I think it's also important to know when you can no longer rely on your own judgment. You have to
outsource,
get some help.
Yeah.
But, I think our organization has been so successful because of the way we've structured the team. And like I mentioned, the women who are on our team, they are highly specialized in areas that in totality create a well-rounded team. So you have someone who had operations background, someone who had marketing, someone communications, retail, and then together it creates this machine.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a great answer either, but that
was great.
It's just taking your time and meeting people, and it's not like we have an unlimited budget. We have to be very resourceful. Because our donations go to the program, not to administrative extra fancy costs. So you have to be very judicious of what you're going to do and how. So it's been
these women who are on your team, how did you find them, or how did they find you?
Well, our chief marketing officer, I met her at the swing set at my son's first day of kindergarten.
Love that.
Amazing. Yes.
And our chief operating officer worked with my husband, and she was looking for a change and was trying to dial back her hours. She subsequently also left the corporate world, and I somehow convinced her to join this journey with me. And then it's sort of word of mouth. This person knows this person, and you put it together.
Yeah. Well, I love what you said about like taking it just like one step at a time, kind of just looking at what do you need to do that's right in front of you, because it can, I'm sure, get overwhelming to think about all of the moving parts. And
I think moms are good at that. When you have all I think, the skills of motherhood really contribute to how you're going to run a business.
True.
It's
Right. I
just
mean,
one crisis
it
at a
is
time you got to
yeah.
deal
That's
with.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true.
My child is having a meltdown. That is my priority. My
Mm-hmm.
inventory, the shipment is late. That's my priority. So you're able to compartmentalize the crises.
Yeah.
Moms know how to do that really well.
Yeah.
Moms
That's
do.
true. That makes me think of one of our other questions, and we can go back to some of the other ones. But what keeps you motivated on like the tough days where like, yeah, maybe things are going wrong and it's like, I don't know, or just it's not working how it's supposed to? How do you stay motivated?
That's a good question. There are days like that
Yeah.
because, in the nonprofit space, you're obviously vying for donors and supporters. And to me, our mission is the most important mission, but all mission driven organizations are similarly trying their best to get attention, donations, support. And sometimes it can feel like an uphill battle. In other ways, there are days that, we have a wait list, a backlog of requests of so many organizations need underwear for the kids that they're serving. And it can feel overwhelming, like we can't possibly, I can't, we don't have enough product, we don't have enough funding yet, I can't do it. And I will say that is what motivates me the most, because I can't forget what motivated me initially to do this was to fill a very specific need for a child. And while it's overwhelming to feel like it's an uphill battle, when I receive the testimonials from, the domestic violence shelters or clinics or, the Department of Children and Families, of the impact that the child feels when they receive the underwear from us, I think that's what keeps me putting one foot in front of the other. It's just, we will be able at one point to be able to respond to any request. So it's important not to give up.
That's great. I think that's important, and especially hearing the stories from people and knowing how impactful that is. That's something that's probably just like heartwarming, and
it lights the fire because when it's like the day to day, you're in like you're responding to emails, you have meetings, you got stuff going on, and then when you stop and you hear the feedback and the testimonials of the actual real life impact that our organization is having, that's sort of all we need.
It's like, oh yeah, this is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Right.
Creates a connection, like more of a emotional connection, and that's important. So for those that are listening, what are some practical ways that they can support your mission?
Thank you for asking. I think one tremendous way to support us is by visiting our website, cocotreekids.org. And there is a link of how to help. The most impactful way to help is by making a monetary donation, because we purchase the underwear that we distribute from manufacturers and wholesalers at a fraction of retail costs. So we are able to distribute way more than you would be able to. I mean, the dollar goes far when the donation comes to us directly, because we can purchase more in bulk. But there are other ways that we would love to have your support. You can visit our Instagram, follow us on social media, post an underwear drive, visit our Amazon wish list. So no matter where you are in the country, you can send underwear our way, and we will make sure that it gets into the hands of the children that need it the most. And we also have on social media sometimes urgent calls to action. For example, right now we are in need of boys extra large underwear. We've received a lot of requests, and we have a situation of a late shipment from our supplier, and we need to make sure that we get this underwear out. So just by following along, you can see different ways to get involved, catch up on what we're doing, how we're helping, and you can reach out to me anytime, of course, as well. Catherine at cocotreekids.org. And if you have a unique way to support our mission, I would love to chat or even just to say hi.
Yeah,
Love
that's
that.
awesome. I love following along on Instagram as well. And I saw that urgent call
Mm-hmm.
today.
Oh, yeah.
And so yeah, it's cool just to see, yeah, the different events you're doing and different people that are helping. Are there any like events or initiatives that are coming up that you're excited about or that people can get involved with?
Yeah, we have on August 5th is National Underwear Day. There's a National
Mm,
Everything Day, but Cocotree Kids
yes,
celebrates National Underwear Day, and
absolutely.
we have an underwear collection campaign and a fundraising campaign on that day, as well as at the end of the year. Like most charities, we have our season of giving. But keeping up to date on our social media and our website, you can also sign up for our newsletter. We share some stories and testimonials from our partners of how the children and families feel when they receive underwear from us. And then just sometimes we'll post an interesting story of like 4 years ago, this was just a collection in my basement. And
Mm-hmm.
now, how it started, how it's going. We just try to have fun with it and try to make sure that our supporters feel informed and as happy as we are.
Part of the
Yeah,
community.
Yes.
yeah,
Can I
for sure.
ask now, you're saying you started in your basement and now to where you are,
Mhm.
and you are providing for the whole of Massachusetts.
Yes.
Do you intend to keep it just there, or do you have any thoughts or aspirations for wanting to take this organization further into other states?
We do have aspirational goals. Like I said before, we have big dreams, but we're
Yeah.
starting one step.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
that's the need is vast. The need extends beyond the state lines of Massachusetts. So the
Absolutely.
intention is to be able to expand the program one day. But in order to do that, we do need continued support and
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
encouragement. And I think we'll get there. I know we'll get there. It's an important need that we are well positioned to fill. So we're starting with Massachusetts and hopefully we'll go
I love
beyond
it.
someday.
I
And I
love it.
think a big part of that is the awareness
Hmm.
aspect. And yeah, like sharing on social media and things because like I said, I up until coming across your account, I didn't even think of that as like
A
a
need.
need or as big of a problem as it is because
Mm.
I saw on the Instagram account like a statistic and I can't remember exactly off the top of my head but like how many kids in Massachusetts um, need underwear or are not able to have it or I don't know is there like a
I do
specific
not have the statistic in front of me right now, but the numbers are staggering and
I was gonna say
shocking.
I just remember it being a lot more than than I
You would think.
expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
context, in 2024, we've delivered underwear to over 20,000 children.
Wow.
Wow.
And that means that, and with our program, every child receives 7 pairs because we give every
Mhm.
child one pair to get them through each day of the week. Oftentimes, children in lower income communities do not have access to laundry facilities.
Hmm.
Mm.
So we're really trying to make sure that they have what they need. But with that, there, like I mentioned, we still have other organizations who are looking to partner with us that we're not able to, with our current um, operating model, take on just
Mm.
yet. So the numbers are are staggering. If you
Yeah.
the families that are struggling with food insecurity and housing,
Yeah.
those are the same families that we're serving as well. And even if you think about a family that loses everything in a fire, for example,
Yeah. Yeah.
many
Mm.
families are surprised, caught off guard by a tragic incident,
Yeah.
and we are positioned to support those families as well with our emergency response distribution program too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's definitely and it's not something that I've seen in California. I would assume there has to be maybe something, but I think that
Oh, like
that's
an
definitely,
organization, you mean?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I think that that would be something amazing to donate to. I wish that there was something here too, because I think that this model, this organization that you have in Massachusetts, is absolutely amazing and
Thank
something that
you.
a lot of people should be more aware of.
Yeah, because
I appreciate that.
it's like a hidden need.
Yeah,
It's not something
absolutely.
that
It's something
you
that you need
know.
from the moment you're born. I mean, with diapers, but it's something that everyone needs, and you
Even
don't
girls who
necessarily
are
think
going
about
through
it.
their menstrual cycle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they don't have underwear, they don't have anything to adhere. Even if they don't, I
Mm,
mean, and many times access to menstrual products is
Yeah.
difficult,
yeah.
but you can't adhere a pad if you don't have underwear.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
there's just a lot of ongoing light bulbs as we've gone through
Yeah.
this journey.
Yeah.
We'll come for
Yeah.
you soon, California, I
Oh,
hope
yes.
one day.
Please make
Yes.
your
We're
way out. I think
coming.
it's such an amazing thing to be able to give to children in need.
Yes.
Thank
And
you. We're doing our
everyone go follow Cocotree Kids. Where's the best places for people to find you?
best. You can find us online, cocotreekids.org, and it's our handle, our social media handle is Cocotree Kids. COCOTREEKIDS. Cocotree Kids, one word.
Awesome. Yeah. So we will in our show notes put all that information so you guys
Mm-hmm.
can go check it out and give them a follow and follow along. And I
And if you're in
am
Massachusetts, right, try
yeah,
and volunteer if they can,
Yes,
or
yeah,
please.
donate
Yes.
or anything, because I think that's an amazing opportunity to get involved and
yeah,
learn more.
Thank you for bringing
yes.
that up. We do also offer volunteer opportunities for kids and adults, and for companies. We have a corporate
Mm,
engagement program if companies would like to have us come and offer an employee engagement day. We can do that.
that's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome. And like we kind of talked about with the kids in the elementary schools helping, I just think everyone, no matter your age, the importance of serving
Mm-hmm.
and giving back is so great, and it uplifts you and motivates you to be better and kinder, and so I think it's just such a good opportunity. Before we wrap things up, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice when you were
Boy,
starting in those early days, what would it be?
one piece of advice.
Or
Um,
or a couple.
okay. Um, be patient.
Hmm.
Probably. There are days, what, like I mentioned, that the need is so overwhelming. There's a lot to do at home. There's a lot to do
Mhm.
professionally. There's just a lot to do. And I think just if I told myself at the beginning just to be more patient, um, it will all fall into place. And if you really want something to be done well, you have to be patient and
Mm.
committed. And with that takes time.
That's perfect. Patience is not always easy, but
No.
it's necessary.
Yes.
Especially when you have something like this that you are passionate about and you know that there's such a need, it's probably like, oh, I wish we could just do it all
Yeah.
and help everyone and feel that like, yeah, just desire to do it all. But I
It
like
will
that.
all happen, but not at the same time right
Yeah.
away. It
Yes.
will all
Yes.
come together. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for this opportunity to share about Cocotree Kids and our unique mission and our work. Um, I'm just very, very appreciative of the opportunity. So thank you so much.
Oh, well, likewise, we're so happy that we were able to chat and learn more and
Yeah,
share
thank
about
you.
it.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And it was awesome to learn more about Cocotree Kids. And I just feel like it is such an amazing, important thing that you're doing. So thank you for all of
Thank
your
you.
hard work and effort that you are putting in. It's amazing. So
Thank you. Likewise, ladies.
oh,
Oh,
thanks.
thank you.
Way to go.
Well, thank you to all who are listening, and we will be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.